Hi, Masters. Hello, everyone. I am Lavanya Vishwanath. On behalf of PSSM Australia, I welcome all the participants of Zoom and viewers on YouTube to this online program that is Buddha and Maitreya Buddha. It is a great pleasure to have you all with us during the special occasion of Buddha Purnima. Before we move forward, I wanted to extend my gratitude to our beloved Brahmarshi Pitamaha Patriji and Swarnamala Patriji. So today we are on 5th day of 11-day meditation journey. It's truly an honor to reflect on the teachings of the two incredible grandmasters. One is Buddha, who is a spiritual scientist who introduced Anapanasati meditation to the mankind, and our beloved Brahmarshi Subhash Patriji, who we call as a Maitreya Buddha, who took meditation practice to millions of people in our era. It's a pleasure to have wonderful speakers who have volunteered to be a part of this program and are willing to share their wisdom about these two grandmasters. Today, we are honored to have Senior Master Hitesh Vashist as our great guest speaker, offering his wisdom on the 5 timeless life lessons by Gautama Buddha. Welcome, sir. So let me give you all a quick introduction about Hitesh Master before handing over the platform to sir. So Hitesh sir have been teaching meditation to masses for a decade and a half. He is also trained in many complementary healing modalities like past life regression, inner child work, life between life regression, family constellation, ancestral healing, rebirthing, breathwork, and so on. With more than 500 plus workshops, he worked with masses finding balance in their lives. Hitesh Master is also an author of the bestseller book named Sundaram Speaks, Conversations to Awaken Your Soul's Wisdom. He is also an award-winning coach par excellence, a workshop leader and a healer with a decade and half experience in the field of human behavior. He is an internationally registered consciousness coach with Certified Coaches Alliance, Canada, and International Coach Federation. With more than 6,000 plus one-on-one healing and coaching sessions, he has transformed people in healing childhood and past life traumas, ancestral patterns, deep subconscious beliefs, and lead a life of meaning and purpose. So having done master's degree in human resource management, he has also worked in apparel fashions, real estate, education, automotive, and telecom sectors. He has coached CEOs, bureaucrats, doctors, teachers, housewives, children, helping them realize that they are whole and capable of achieving anything and everything. With this, I would like to welcome you once again, sir. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Lavanya ji, for having me here, and thank you, PSSM Australia, and Kalpana ji. Thank you for having me. And, very happy to be a part of this Buddha and the Maitreya Buddha program, which we are doing on the, for the Buddha Purnima. It's an amazing initiative, wonderful initiative for all the meditators to come together and meditate and experience the group consciousness. So before we begin, friends, let us all start with meditation. I think that will be a good way to begin the session. So I'd like you all to sit comfortably. You can lock your feet, clasp your hands, and close your eyes. Let us center ourselves, align ourselves. Let us prepare ourselves for this 30 minutes meditation. To prepare ourselves, let's take 3 long, deep breaths. Breathe in from your nose, hold it for a while, and breathe out from your mouth. As if you prepare yourself for becoming friends with your breath. And once you take these 3 long, deep breaths, just come back to your normal, natural breath. Focus on your normal breath. Focusing on the way the breath comes in and the way the breath goes out. Maybe we can play some soft music in the background. If one of the team members can play the soft music, very slow one. Make it slow. Let's pay attention to our normal, natural breath. Your breath has 3 components: the inhalation, the exhalation, and a tiny pause in between. Just pay attention to these 3 components of your breath. And to attend your breath, you can sit at the tip of your nose or at the rise and fall of your chest. Just witness. Witness your normal, natural breath. To meditate means to not do anything. Drop all the activity. Rather, to not associate with any action. What we have to do is to just witness. Witness your normal, natural breath. the thoughts are coming, let them come, let them go. Don't interact with your thoughts. Just be. Be with your normal, natural breath. Choose not to interact with your thoughts. Just become aware. Pay attention to your breath. If the breath is shallow, let it be. If the breath is deep, let it be. If the breath is fast, let it be. And if the breath is slow, let it be. When you begin to pay your attention to your breath, you might notice that your breath is shortening. It's becoming subtler and subtler, shorter and shorter. Let it be the way it is naturally. Just stay. Stay with all the alertness. Remain aware and alert within. Pay attention to one's breath means to learn to sit with oneself. And to learn to sit with oneself means to grow witness towards our thoughts, feelings, everything that emerges inside, surfaces inside. It means to be friends with oneself. Just be with your breath. Allow yourself to expand in this stillness. Let yourself expand in this stillness while your breath is subtler than ever before. Last 5 minutes. last 2 minutes. Just stay with your breath. Thirty seconds. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Gently keeping the center of your palms, open your palms and keep their center on your eyes for 5 seconds. And then gently removing your palms and open your eyes with a smile. Welcome back everybody. Okay, dear friends. So today I'll be speaking to you about 5 timeless lessons that we can take from the teachings of Gautam Buddha. Because if we open up Buddhist text, we might find a lot of teachings of Gautam Buddha. Like we make a home, and for the home, we need a foundation. If the foundation is perfect, the building, the structure that comes on the top, it will, be absolutely perfect. In the same way, if we want to, awaken ourselves to our real self, like who am I? Then we need to have certain founding principles in place. And Buddha offered those founding principles in place for us to have, a beautiful understanding of our own self, for us to know our own self. So I'll be speaking to you about these 5 teachings from Buddha. so that we can inculcate them in our lives and make our life a lot easier, because life as of now is a rat race. We feel it's a rut, and we don't have to live it like that, because there are great masters who have offered us and they have made our work easier. We don't have to start from the scratch. Like there is research which is already, Anapanasati meditation was brought by Buddha. And then later on, the research was done by many great masters, even, Brahmrishi Patriji. He brought the breath meditation with pyramids and how it can enhance our own well-being. So we don't have to waste our time doing it from the scratch. So let's talk about these 5 teachings that we get from Buddha, from his own life lessons, from his own practice. What does he teach us? What does he teach us? So the very first lesson that I would like you to pay attention to is called impermanence. Because Buddha in his teachings mentioned that the life goes through a circle. Like there is the light, there is day, there is night, there is light, there is dark, there are good things, there are bad things. And when we talk about impermanence, we often think that these good things and bad things are not going to stay forever. Well, this is absolutely correct, because nothing stays forever, be it good, be it bad. And it is going to change with each passing moment. Like the change is the only constant. But Buddha not just spoke about the the things that we experience in the outside world with our senses, like what we see, what we feel, what we hear, smell, taste, with our senses is subject to change. Yes, it is subject to change. But that is just level 1 of the impermanence. When Buddha spoke about impermanence, he also spoke about our thoughts, our feelings, and our perceptions. Which means our thoughts, our feelings, our perceptions are also undergoing change. They are not permanent. They are in that impermanent state. Like today I have some perception about something. It does not mean that it is going to stay forever like that. And you have already experienced it. For example, you held a certain perception about somebody in your life and they were bitter to you during those moments, and you held a bitter perception towards them. But as the life passes, you have your own experiences, you gather your own wisdom, and then you create a different perception of them. You realize that they are who they are, but it does not mean that I have to hold a kind of judgment towards them, because what I judge, it keeps coming back to me. And therefore, everybody is in that state of impermanence, like their thoughts, their feelings, their perception. We consider that it is permanent, but it is not, because we experience it like that. So for example, if I hold a glass, for me, the level 1 of impermanence could be that this glass might break. It is impermanence, right? But in the level 2, wherein I say thoughts, feelings, and perception, my thoughts, feelings, and perception towards this glass is also impermanent, dear friends. Like the way I see it, the way I perceive it today is not going to be the same, the way I perceive it, maybe tomorrow or a year later, or so on and so forth. So that's what the impermanence means. And what does impermanence, do to us? It helps us to actually be able to find peace. It helps us to find peace in where we are. And how do we actually be able to see impermanence? To see impermanence, it's not easy because we are so unconscious in our regular routine. Day to day, we run from one thing to another, one chore to another. To be able to see impermanence, we actually need to slow down. Because if we don't slow down, then the mind does not allow us to, sit quietly. It keeps running. The body also runs, the mind runs more than that. So for that, we need the slowing down, because only when we slow down, we can actually be able to realize what is impermanent here, what is not going to stay here. My thoughts, my feelings, my perceptions that I experience throughout the day, they are not forever and they're going to change. So that's the first thing, impermanence. And the second thing is mindfulness. Now, what does it mean to be mindful? Mindful means to be in the present moment, to be here and now. Once there was a teacher, a very learned teacher, and he had a student. The student used to remain very sad throughout the day, although he was doing very good in his studies and everything. But master always found him very sad whenever he is alone, whenever he sits without any work. His hand is like this, as if he's in deep, thinking, and his face will also show that frowning, as if he's constantly brooding over something, and he seems very sad. And it went for quite a long time, like years passed by this. And this master did not feel good about it, because he wanted to bring this disciple out, and he had told him that you always get into the past, come out of the past. You don't need to live in the past. But the disciple did not get it. So one fine day, master thought that I am going to teach this boy to be in the present. And he takes him near to the river, and he shows him the stream of the river, the way it was flowing. It was flowing in one direction. And all of a sudden, the master pushes the disciple in the water. And since the stream, the flow was really fast, the student also began to flow in the water. So much so that he got really panicked. And he wanted to save himself. And he moved and flapped his hands and feet so that he could come out of it. Eventually, master helped him. He gave him a hand and he brought him out of the water. And then master asked him, what did you realize here? He said that when I was inside the water, I was scary, and I was only thinking of being alive. That I wanted to just live. And that's what master told him. When you were inside the water, when you were in the middle of something, all that you have to think of is to be alive in that moment, to be in that moment. So when you can do it in the water, you can definitely do it in your life also, because life is nothing but the flow. It's flowing like a river. What it gave me yesterday, it is not giving me the same thing. And it's not going to give me the same thing tomorrow. So it's flowing like water. But in this flow, if you can hold on to this moment and you can live this moment, being alive, if you can be here, that means you are mindful. And what does it mean to be alive, dear friends? To be alive means to be physically, mentally, and with all your senses put together. You bring your attention in that moment. You bring your attention to that which you are, confronting or facing in your present moment. That is what mindfulness is. That is what being present is. Because our mind keeps dragging us to the past. Whenever you are idle, like that student, whenever we are idle, our mind pushes us. It brings us into the past. It takes us there. Right? And when it takes us into the past, it also creates so many expectations. And when it creates expectations, too many expectations, it takes us into future. That's what mind does. It flip-flops like in the past or in the future. That is the very nature of the mind, because like the very nature of the snake is to, to be venomous. It's venomous. In the same way, the nature of the mind is to give birth to thoughts. It only knows to give birth to thoughts. Only when we come in the present moment, we can be the master of the mind. And how does being present in this can help us overcome the mind? Because past has happened already. Buddha said past has happened already. And future has not yet come. So the only thing that you have is the present moment. You can only be here in the present. Because if there are certain things in the past that did not go the way you want, only in the present moment you can change your perception towards it. You can change the way you look at it. That's what you can do. And once in this present moment you change your perception, your present is going to create future, because once upon a time your present is also going to be a past and your future is going to be the present. So from that space, you can change everything. And that is why he said, take care of your present. Be in the present moment, because by being in the present moment, you become the master of your mind, and mind listens to you. You awaken the higher potential of your mind, not the lower potential, because lower potential only lives in the past or the future. And it is much more than that. So that's where the mindfulness comes into the picture. And the third thing he spoke about is compassion. Once there was a saint, like a sagely man. He was standing near to some water body and he saw a scorpion, like, struggling to swim. Out of his compassion, he wanted to pick, he tried picking the scorpion, but scorpion was always, keeping that sting very erect, as if he's going to bite him. But he tried few times and scorpion actually gave him that bite. And he was stung by that. And he got it 3-4 times. Eventually, in that last moment, he picks the scorpion and he keeps him out of the water. And there was this gentleman, he was seeing them, the entire act, the way the scorpion was, biting him. And he said, how foolish of you. Can't you see that his nature is to bite? He said that, yes, I know that it's his nature to bite, but that nature cannot make me forgive my nature, because my nature is to save. That is compassion, dear friends. Compassion means to be able to have blessings for that which is, maybe suffering to you, and blessings for that which maybe it is suffering for others also. That is compassion. To be having heart for that which is not in resonance with you. That is compassion. Sometimes we confuse compassion with like empathy. Because we feel when somebody is in pain, I must feel their pain. That is not compassion, dear friends. That is empathy. When somebody is in pain, if we go and sit with them and we also cry along with them, it is being in the space of empathy. That means you are, experiencing what they are experiencing. But compassion is one level up of them. It means having yourself in that centered space, being a pure listener, pure watcher to what is happening. That is compassion. Because only by being in your alignment, you can help the person. You cannot help the person by being pulled into their pain. You can only help the person when you pull them in your peace. That is how it can be helped. So Buddha spoke about compassion. And compassion not only for others, not only for, our neighbors, but also for the other living beings, the beings who are coming from our other mother, like animals and birds and plants, having compassion for them. And also, he spoke about self compassion. He said, all other compassion is not going to work if you don't have self compassion. And what does it actually mean? To have self compassion means to see your thoughts, feelings, your emotions from a space of witness. That is compassion. To not push them away from your system, because like the way we do it in meditation, most of the times people feel that they have to push the thoughts away. No, this is not an act of compassion, it's an act of violence towards yourself. An act of compassion demands that you witness each and every thought of yours. You just have to witness, like that tree, that which watches all the vehicles passing by on the road. It does not move with those vehicles, it just stays. In the same way, we just have to stay where we are to all that which is happening inside of us, all the feelings, all the sensations. We just have to witness that. And from that witness, the compassion, the bigger compassion arises, because only when we are compassionate to ourselves, we can have that compassion for others, not without that. Otherwise, it's going to be very momentary. It's not going to be, the way we will not mature ourselves. It will not ripen inside of us. So that's the third learning, which is compassion. And the fourth learning that he spoke about is non-attachment. Not attaching yourself to your material possessions, not attaching yourself to your thoughts. To not attach means to let go. Not attaching yourself to your material possessions, to your relationships, to anything. And why does he say so? It does not mean that you have to give up on your relationships. I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying if you attach yourself, you will begin to expect from them a lot. Because, for example, if I'm attached to my child, then what is going to happen? I will attach myself in a way that I would expect that this person listens to me. I would expect that they agree to me. They always are yes babies to me. And they grow their career, their life decisions according to me. That is a level of expectation. And what is the guarantee? The person is not going to be saying no to me. He's definitely, or she's definitely going to say no to me. In that no, I will feel hurt then. And when I'm stuck in that hurt, I will give one more hurt to them. And then they'll give one more hurt to me. So I will be in the loop of that karma. I will be in the loop. It will be a vicious circle. I will not come out of it. So that's why Buddha said that I should practice non-attachment. Because by non-attachment, I can give my best without any expectation. Non-attachment, friends, lead us to freedom. If we really wanted to live free, really wanted to live from that liberated space, we need non-attachment. And sometimes people feel that non-attachment means to give up on your actions for other people. Like, for example, whatever duties I have for my child, I would also give up on that. I will say, oh, no, non-attachment, because this person has to take care of themselves. Yes, they have to take care of themselves. But not to give up on your dharma, not to give up on your roles and responsibilities, not to give up on your actions, give up on your expectations, give up on your outcomes that you're looking from. Right? Otherwise, if you don't give up on your expectations, it is going to take your peace away. So that's why he said, practice, non-attachment. Patriji said non-interference. He spoke the same thing, but he said non-interference. He said, practice non-interference in each and every relationship of yours, even the most loved ones. There has to be non-interference. Even Khalil Gibran, he said, let there be spaces in our togetherness. There has to be a space, because if you don't offer the space to the other person, if they don't grow in their own power, in their own potential, they might end up feeling breathless. And in that breathlessness, they might actually move away from you. So, if we truly want to save our relationships, we must truly bring non attachment, non interference in our work. And the fifth one, he said, middle path. We call it the balance, Madhya Marg. He says, don't move into extremes. Don't move into the extremes of doing something. Don't move extreme into spirituality. Because if you move in the extremes of spirituality, on the other side, you are experiencing rejection. You are experiencing rejection in the, the physicality. He learned it in his own journey, in his own sadhana. When he came out, from his own place, and he was just moving around, searching his own self. He did lot of sadhana to an extent that he stopped eating. And when he stopped eating, he became so fragile. He could not move his body. His bones were visible, from outside. He was so thin, so much so that he wanted to meditate, but he could not even meditate, because that hunger, that pain, he could not survive with that. And then somebody gave him rice. He ate the rice. And in that eating, he realized that I don't need to give so much of pain to myself. I don't have to move away from this so much that whatever I want to go closer to, that also moves away from me. So, for example, if you want to move so closer to your spiritual world, you move so away from physicality that moving away will also take you away from your spirituality. It's going to take you away. I am meditating the full day, I'm meditating. My kids will say, my family will say, what are you doing? Ultimately, I'm trying to meditate for peace, but I will end up losing peace because my outside responsibilities are not being completed. So Buddha says, don't move into the extremes of pain and pleasure. Don't move. Come in the middle path. He says, Sansar and Nirvana, they're not different. They're same, he says. He says Sansar equates Nirvana. It's the similar. Like the mud and the lotus, they go hand in hand. If there is no mud, there is no lotus. In the same way, if there is no physicality, if there is no sansar, there is no nirvana. There can be no understanding of it. So he says the best place to live is to live in the present moment, live in the balance, live in the middle path, live with non-interference. So that's how his teachings can be brought to our world. So friends, 5 teachings I shared with you from his learnings today. The very first one, which we call as impermanence, mindfulness. Third, non-attachment. Fourth, compassion. Fifth one, we call is middle path. I think I'll stop here. And if you have any sharing, any experience, anything you want to share, you're most welcome to share that.
Thank you, Hitesh, sir. It was really a wonderful topic, and I have learned personally a lot. So where I learned that compassion, where you said like it's one step ahead of empathy. I was thinking empathy as a compassion, but it's not that. So I realized that, and for being in compassion, we have to be like where we are not resonating with others. We should have that open feeling. So that is what the main thing for compassion. And I also learned about this for being for the impermanence. We should always slow down. So from this running race, so that I've learned that particular point, which which is takeaway for me. And regarding mindfulness,
Also, sorry to interrupt.
yes, sir.
I'll share one incident from Buddha's life about compassion, because since we are talking about compassion, so Buddha had uh, his his cousin whose name was Devadatta. So Devdutt was, he was kind of, very notorious. He would do a lot of conspiracies against Buddha. He would really annoy him a lot. But there came a time when Devdutt was really sick, and Buddha was told about him. And Buddha said that I see him the way I see my son, Rahul. Rahul was his son's name. So he actually, here what he's trying to exemplify, he's actually exemplifying compassion, that to be able to have heart for that which is not in alignment to us. That's where we can learn from him.
Yeah, when you stated that, I have seen this Buddha's episode in Netflix. So that was the only which got stuck to me. How can a person be like that? When he says, like, I remember exactly the dialogue where it was like, I don't remember you doing any stuff. So I felt like, how could a person be that? So that was really a great message. So thank you for sharing this wonderful story. And about the non-attachment, non-interference, giving our space is very much needed in any kind of relationship. And mindfulness, I was told, that being in this present moment. So yeah, that is will be our future or our past. Everything is is around that, and the middle path. So no need of not to go to any kind of extremes.
Yes.
Yeah. Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much. Masters, friends, let us know if you have any questions. You can either raise your hands or put it on into the chat box. Feel free, whichever you feel comfortable. There is a question from Sunita. Please explain nirvana. Is it moksha? How can we go to middle path?
Right. So yes, nirvana is moksha, and it is nirvana is called different names. Moksha is in our Hindu system. There is Kaivalya in Jaina system. There are different names being offered. Liberation. These are same, and they work the same way. And how can we go to the middle path? Yes. So to go to the middle path means to inculcate that which I'm experiencing is not going to stay forever. Only this much, if we can bring. Like, for example, if there is a certain situation in my life and I feel that it is keeping me completely enmeshed in, it is keeping me enmeshed for a very long time, I must know that this is going to pass. This itself is going to bring me, it itself is going to free me from that. And in the same way, another thing which we can do is that when we do certain activities, when we do all the activities, we should do it from the space of non-attachment. Like, I am not the doer, because most of the times when we feel that I am a doer, what happens is we create our own karmic energy. So I am speaking, I am delivering, I am listening, I am cooking, I am eating, I am meditating. When we say I, this bodily conscious I, that means we are actually attached. And when we are attached, it takes us away from moksha. To be in the space of moksha means to not have attachment to this small I, rather to be only attached to that bigger I. And that bigger I says that there is the divine consciousness inside of me, the inspiration of which that comes through me, comes through my body. And it is through the inspiration of that I speak, I hear, I listen, I feel, I move, I work. If I work from that space, then that all the work, all the karma that I actually create is going to be no karma. And that no karma leads us to moksha.
Thank you, sir, for the explanation. Sunita, please let us know if you have any more questions on this. Okay, yeah, it's answered for her. Thank you, sir. Shivani, please go ahead.
Hello, sir, and thank you for wonderful session. You made everything clear, and thank you for clarifying the definition of compassion. And you were right. We all think that we confuse empathy with compassion. So my question is, when we say in self love, sometimes when someone is hurting you, we have to stand for ourselves. So how, and you are saying compassion is someone is hurting you should be in, neutral state and acceptance. So how to maintain, how to differentiate what is self-love, what is compassion, and how to maintain a balance between the two?
So when somebody does wrong to us, it does not mean that we have to accept the wrongness. It does not mean that. It simply means to have compassion means to see the person as divine as I see something else. It is only that much, right? So, for example, I have, let's say, some conflict with my boss, right? And this person keeps pinning me down and nagging me here and there and does not leave any reason to criticize me. Okay. In this person, I know that I am not going to be agreeing to his act. That I can definitely have a different opinion of. But the only thing that compassion means that I see him divine. I see him divine, which means he is made of the same element that I am made up of. He's made of the same. I don't, because what happens is we take the actions of the person as their true identity. The
But then,
actions,
sir, how can we stop it? Like the boss is, disrespecting you, and then yes, he is divine, but that doesn't mean that you have to keep, accepting what he's doing.
of course, you have the right to say no. Of course, you have the right to defend yourself. When
But
I'm
then
saying
won't you lose the element of compassion there when you're, you know,
that is
um,
your job. That is your job. That's where that is why you practice, 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 and practice. Okay, because with practice we are going to learn, right? And it is gonna come as it comes very naturally. You will be able to identify that this person is divine, but I don't buy his act. And for that act, I definitely say no. And I say that I don't buy this. At the same time, I don't hold any grudges towards you. That's compassion. It will
okay,
come
this
with
makes clear. Yes.
with practice.
Don't
Yes.
hold grudges is compassion. Stand for yourself is self-love. Yes.
Don't judge them. Don't judge them, because mostly what happens is when somebody lies to us, we say he is a liar.
Yeah.
Liar is a judgment which is being passed.
Mhm.
Let's not judge them because they are who they are.
Doing
And
their part. Yep.
what is lying from my side, maybe from their side, it is exactly the truth.
Yep.
So from their side, they're right. It's
Yep.
the perception also changes. So you just have to keep
Okay.
moving.
Thank you so much, sir. It makes sense. Thanks.
Thank you, Shivani. On this, sir, there is one more question. So let me ask that. Is self-sympathy and self-love the same?
So sympathy means poor me. That's sympathy. Victim me. The victim consciousness is sympathy. To be sympathizing yourself means to be dimming your own magnificence, to be dimming your divinity. That is sympathy. There is a old age which is said, God helps those who helps themselves. Sympathizing people, those who are in their own sympathy zone, they're actually pity on their own self. And if they cannot stand up for themselves, they cannot help themselves, nothing can from outside help them. So, which is why sympathy is a victim zone, that I am a poor me, everybody is pouncing on me, making me do this and that, and life is so struggling and it is making me suffer. You know, they are attached to the suffering element. Buddha says only pain is, if pain stays, rest, suffering does not, is suffering is not needed. It's not there. Pain, when we hold on to the pain, it becomes the suffering. When you keep scratching your own wound, it becomes suffering. So we don't need that, right? A person who is in sympathy zone, poor me zone, they are actually in that suffering zone. And self-love means to be able to hold the light and the dark with equal love. Light and dark means there are some things inside of me which are bright. There are some things inside of me which are in dark dungeons. I disown those dark things. Self love means I bring all of them under the light. I'm aware of that. I don't reject them. I hold them equally. That's where the light comes. And all these great masters, they have taught us through their own life, right? Krishna, Buddha, all of them, they have told, if there is a good side of me, there's a different side to me also. There's a shadow side to me as well. But when I accept both of them, all I see is divinity. Like positive and negative, when they come together, then the electricity is generated, not without that. In the same manner, the wholeness is created when the light and the dark inside of me is brought together. And to have heart for both is self-love. Because only when I have this for myself, I can have it for others, not without that.
Great, sir. Thank you so much. Now we have Namita. You can unmute yourself.
Namaste, sir. Again, such a wonderful session, and thank you for such a beautiful meditation as well. It's such an amazing experience to have sit in the meditation with you. My question is not today's topic related, but maybe related. But my question is how to come out of judgment, because I find myself judging too much. Then I feel, if I introspect myself, I feel like because I judge myself as well, oh Lord, all the time. So if they are all interrelated, I try to do a self-talk a lot. Like whenever the thought comes, I try to contradict with I'm beautiful or I am good as I am, or others are the way they are, they're perfect the way they are. But any tips or any way of direction, if you can show me, how can we overcome the judgment part?
So yes, Namitaji, you're right that when we judge others, it's actually a reflection of my own judgment towards self. It is like that because life shows us through mirrors. It teaches only through mirrors. There are no other ways for life to teach us. The best way, what I feel is like, I'll give you a small practice. For example, there are 12 hours in a day. I'm leaving the other 12 because I feel, let's say it goes in sleep and all of the stuff. These 12 hours, put an alarm after every hour, right? Maybe 2 minutes alarm, 2 minutes, that gap. In that 2 minutes, if you can witness your thoughts, if you can see how are you feeling, what are you feeling, if you can see, what is happening inside of me, if you notice all that and see if there is an element of judgment, which is what you're holding towards self, just change it there and then. Whatever affirmations you feel, I love and approve of myself, I accept myself, the divine lives in me, whatever comes to you, you can do that. This way, if you do it after every hour, you're going to do it at least 12 times a day. And repetition is the greatest way to master anything. So I think that is what, and it is very, very powerful. This way, if you give yourself a moment to do a self-inquiry after every hour, and you check your thoughts and check your feelings and patterns, you'll be able to correct them right there and then. Because, not everything in your life is going to come during SOS. Usually we do this practice only during SOS times, emergency times. But those are only for those moments, Rest of the moments, if you begin to practice in a formal manner, it can really grow inside.
Perfect.
So-
Thank you, sir. And then on that, 7 mirrors, I heard your lecture on 7 mirrors. I never come across such a beautiful session, sir. It was such a wonderful session. We will definitely want to have some further from you. Is there anything further after that where you have explained a little bit more in, on that topic? That would be great. This beautiful
I
session.
second,
Thank
that's a wonderful, wonderful session. I like thought I can hear it, 2, 3, 4 times. It's again and again. It's wonderful
Yeah.
session.
you. It was
Thank
like
you.
you speaking to us with our daily examples.
Yes,
Such a
yes,
wonderful session.
yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Amitaji. A question from Richa. Are there any books that compiles all the Buddha teachings?
I don't think all the Buddha's teachings can be compiled in one, but one of my favorite books I can tell you about that, which is Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. So the rest, I think there are some amazing texts that are available as far as Buddhist teachings are concerned. You have to scroll it, go with your intuition. But Hermann Hesse's Siddhartha is an amazing book.
Thank you, sir. Next, Kalpana.
Thanks, Lavanya. Thank you so much, Hitesh ji. Thank you so much for accepting the second session for PSSM Australia. Would definitely love to have more sessions from you. So today topic was really, really good, sir. I got points in each and every topic. So the one that I loved is from Q&A, sir, about self-love. So I came across this situation last year, sir. From childhood, I was thinking myself as an anger person, so that I kept building inside. So every time I was showing more anger than love. So then I realized I accepted that anger within me. So okay, this is my quality. So I'm gonna live with it, right? So from that moment, my anger reduced a lot, sir. Once I accepted my anger, I became very normal person, peaceful, and everything went really good, sir. So I just want to share that experience.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and I learned more from Q&A, sir, today. Thank you so much for all the masters who put their questions. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kalpana. Masters, if you have any questions, let us know. So let me use this time. I have a question from my end as well. Kanchan, you have? Okay, go ahead, Kanchan.
No, Lavanya, you please go on. I will be coming after you. That's okay.
So when we are witnessing our thoughts, so what will be the next steps, sir? So yes, we are aware of what we are doing, and if you know that what are the emotions which is happening within you, so how long do we need to observe? Like, what is the thing? Like, you need to find the peace within you, or like, what is a state? Like, because when some kind of incident or something happens, you'll see a variation in your breath and the thoughts which are running through and the emotions which is running through your body, somewhere in your chest or in your belly or somewhere, you'll find that. Okay, what is the next step? You're witnessing it. So how long to be witnessed, or like what is the benchmark at least? Like, yeah.
So this is going to work. Like if you witness it, what is going to happen is that thought, you will also realize, okay, let me put it this way. When you witness, it is going to make you realize that whatever thought, whatever feeling, whatever emotion you're experiencing is going to not stay forever. It is not going to stay forever. It is going to go away. And why do I say this, that it is going to go away? Because a feeling came to you, a thought came to you. So that which comes to you, how can that be you? A guest comes to my home. How can guest be the owner? You get me? Same way the thought came to you. That means it comes and it goes. What makes it permanent is that I am engaged with it. I constantly brood over it and I'm interacting and I'm making mountains out of the bone. That's what is making it grow and expand. But when I witness it, what I do is I become aware that the guest has come. I witness that and I have heart for it. That means there are no triggers with it, no love triggers, no fear triggers, just a neutral state, a balanced state. The way it has come, it will move also. And in that moving, in that witnessing, what is going to happen is there is going to be a gap between my thoughts is going to widen. It's going to widen a lot. And it will automatically stabilize me. See, peace is not the very nature of the divine. Peace is the byproduct. It's a byproduct. The very nature of divine is to witness. Witness what is. It just witnesses everything, whether it is comfortable, uncomfortable. It just knows. It exists, only exists. That which is called, that is why we say witness. For example, if somebody, we say that they die, let's say, somebody dies. Still, there is something in them which is going to exist, even outside of the body and even beyond. Rest, thought, and everything is going to die. But what we feel, thoughts and feelings, they are forever. So witnessing helps us to see what is impermanent and what is not. It really helps us to, know that this is going to pass and I don't have to, engage with it so much and get myself up and down here and there. I don't have to do that. Just by this much, we'll be able to sail through. And this can be practiced in real life also. Like something happened, we can just take a pause. We can be mindful. We can witness our breath. And in that witnessing, we'll see the thought is going to dissolve. The emotional trigger is going to unclutch. It is going to release its energy and it is going to shape shift. The energy is going to shape shift. What was anger? The moment I become mindful of it, I become attentive to it. I give all my awareness and witness to it. This anger trigger is going to dissolve. It's going to transform into something else. And every time I keep doing it, my job is done.
Got it. So very well explained about the impermanence even in the thoughts. Okay, got it. And as in our breath, when we are observing our breath, like where you will get that space. So even when we are observing our thoughts and emotions, we will get that space. Okay, got it, sir. Thank you. And one more question regarding this extremes in Madhya Margam or being in the middle path. So coming to the spirituality, so what is the extremes, in terms of our daily, day in, day out? So it's like, I have heard many people, they're saying different things. I wanted to know what is an extreme. So can we do like throughout the night's meditation, is it an extreme or like, how is it need to be balanced? Because I have these questions a lot of times. So what is an extreme? I wanted to define to myself. So what is an extreme? So yeah.
So extreme, there is no rule of thumb for extreme. Every person is going to define their own extreme. Why do I say that? Extreme is only the situation when you avoid something, for what you are doing. For example, I love to meditate and I meditate for 10 hours, 11 hours, 15 hours. Why? Let's say I want to avoid going to job. Let's say I want to avoid cooking food. Let's say I don't want to attend to my husband. That is avoiding something. You are then using spirituality as as an avoidance mechanism. You are in denial of something. So that is what the extreme, right? Extreme means to be moving away from your dharma. Whatever dharma you have a dharma of a daughter, you have a dharma of a son, you have a dharma of your husband, wife. Extreme is moving outside of that. Right? We do that also, we do our work also. Even Buddha said, you don't have to go out like me and, gain enlightenment like that. You don't even have to follow me. You follow your own path. You create your own path. He said that. Don't believe me, he said. What I did, it worked for me, but yours can be different. And that's why he brought middle path, because looking at him, people might get inspired to leave our home. He didn't want to present that. So he wanted to bring people to a middle path, madhyama, because if you are too much into that, you're resisting something. And what you resist is going to persist. It's going to keep coming back to you till the time you address it, till the time you make peace with it, till the time you have a confrontation with it. Otherwise, it is going to keep chasing you. So that's why.
Got it, sir. Yeah. Moving away from dharma, it's an extremes. Okay, got it. Thank you so much, sir, for the clarity. And next, Kanchan.
Namaste, Hitesh sir. Thank you so much for being here. And we want to have you again and again, sir, if the time permits. Next session, anytime, whenever you propose, we will be waiting for you. And your meditation session always, sir, amazing. I can felt the energies, my whole head was breathing. All pores were open from the certainly at many places. It was very, very high energies I felt today in the session. Thank you for such a wonderful meditation, first of all. And yeah, those things, the 5 topics we have talked about today. Personally, sir, I'm practicing on non-detachment, non-expectations, and that's definitely it's with the kids only. How you remain in non-attachment on those parts, you keep on focusing on their career. They don't want let you in any area. So it's how to manage those things. I'm trying on that. uh, Sir, I just wanted to know more about, because the time is very limited, I'm sorry if we are extending with that, self-love and self-compassion, how these two terms go side by side and how it makes difference.
Almost similar.
It's same.
It's the same. Rather, sometimes people confuse self-love with self-care. Self-care is pedicure, manicure, and facial, and having a head massage. It is more bodily, physically. To some extent, it could be mentally also. But that's not self-love. Self-love is to have a heart for all that is discomforting inside of you. That is self-love. To be gentle to yourself. For example, if I have not done something up to the mark, do I criticize myself? That is not self-love. Or am I gentle to myself and I tell myself that it is okay for me to make mistakes? I am a learner, having your heart for that, and that we all are co-learners. That is self-love.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for this. That is same. Sir, in case of when we see the brutality around us, how we can have the compassion for such a person, if you go towards at the level of the with the books like soul plan and all, we can understand yes, we can see the divinity, but when you come back in this physical life again, reading and understanding that content at that point of time, we can feel yes, it's okay, that's the soul plan, they're learning their level, everything. When all around us lot many things are happening in that state, how we can keep the compassion for such beings, it's really difficult, sir. So how we can practice, is it the reading and being in awareness of all the time is the only way, or any other practice we can do it?
Just I would say this can definitely be done, but more importantly, inculcate one thing, one belief about that life is beautiful and people around me are beautiful. They are divine. They are absolutely divine. If we bring ourselves, to this and we strengthen it inside, it's gonna be my empowering belief. Because from the belief, everything gets created, and life is beautiful. If I want to see beauty in life, I must first integrate it inside. Only then I'll be able to see beauty, not without that. Then the same person who is, a kind of a miscreant, I will still find him beautiful, that he's beautiful in his own ways. So only just changing here changes everything outside.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Kanchan. Simiji, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, namaste, Hitesh sir. Thank you so much for your beautiful session. My question is about the last thing you explained and a bit of the whole session. When we are going through this life right now after COVID, people have gone into anytime madness, like, I don't know, this is what I have experienced. So I do practice a lot of self-love, empathy, lots of compassion. And I have people around me that come up like in my space, which because I'm quite approachable. So they come up and say, you need to say sorry to me because you said this and it really hurt me. So I quickly, that's me. I just apologize to them truly from my heart and hug them if I can. I ask the permission because some people don't like, because we live in a world here in Western world, you got to take permission. And most of the people are good with that, you hug them. And sometimes, in families where you live, you keep on telling them you love them, you practice empathy with them, you do a lot of they're divine, you unconditionally love them with your love languages, like, you give them fresh meals, what you cook for yourself, you cook for everyone. When they're sick, you take care of them, like everything you do for them. But when every day they're telling you something is not right, you need to mend this, or this happened 10 years ago, and they keep carrying that on, and they say you need to apologize to so and so in my family, or this friend of mine, you said this to that person. It's like every other day there is like a little something comes up, and you say, okay, well, maybe they got hurt from me, I'm sorry to them. So say, for instance, I will call them if I get an opportunity and say, hey, how are you, how's everything? I just wanted to let you know, if there was in the end of phone call or something, in the middle warming up and saying, uh, if I have ever hurt you like unknowingly or something, please forgive me. That wasn't my intention. I never knew that that could have happened. But if it did, I'm here to ask for forgiveness. And you've said that, and you've, for your side, you've done that, but the other person is not accepting your apologies. And then they send you a message saying she should physically come here, bow under my feet, and say sorry in front of everyone. And you think, okay, I'm happy to do that. And when you organize that, those people say, no, even after you do that, you cannot mend who you are. So how do you overcome this kind of situations with people where you keep putting your ego aside, because there's no ego in that, because someone is saying they're hurt, they must be hurt. So I'm sorry about it. But how do you overcome that every week, every year, years and years, you've been apologizing? How do you overcome that?
So, Simiji, you don't have to make others feel divine by dimming your own divinity. You don't have
Yes,
to do that. It is not your job. And
yes.
you have to do anything out of guilt. Guilt is a lot like a slow poison to our own self. You don't need to do things out of guilty, and neither you need to be sorry for it. Right? There is no word such, no forgiveness is needed. We all are learners, right? Only when we feel that, yes, there is something that needs to be done from my side, when I check it within, then I do it. Not on the basis of what others say to me. Not like that. Because if you do it on that and you don't check it inside of you, it's not going to come up the way it should. And there is no guarantee, even if you've already done it few times with them and they have still not been okay with it. It's not going to happen. because they feel that they'll make you feel burdened basis, that if you're not forgiven, you'll feel burdened. But
Mhm.
nobody is going to come and do this for you. You have to do it for yourself. More
Mhm.
than asking sorry to them, we must ask sorry to our own self, because I have put you through such tough situations, and I will not do it now. If it does not come to me, I hold the stand that I'm not going to do it. It is a sign of self-love.
Mhm.
It's a sign of acknowledging your own divinity. And we all are learners. It's okay to make mistakes.
Mhm.
Nobody is perfect here. The ones who are asking sorry from you, they want you to ask sorry. They might have done n number of times and mistakes, n number of mistakes in their life. So
Mhm.
it's okay. It's
Oh,
okay. You don't have to go with what they say. Go with what you are.
yeah.
Who,
Sometimes you get stuck because they are such close relations. Like you just think either you keep doing it to keep the relationship or you have to walk away from it.
you don't even have to walk away.
Yes.
You neither have to just bring yourself down or neither walk away. You stay where you are. Just
Uh,
stay. Stay happy. Stay in love with them. Even if you're not meeting them, don't hold them in your heart with a grudge.
oh,
Just
yes.
do this part. Be pure with them in your heart. Don't hold judgment with them. Rest, leave, because your job is done then. Whatever they do with you, with all that in their heart and everything, it is their job. You keep yourself pure with them. There has to be no energy conflicts between you and them in your heart, because
Oh,
that is your.
thank you. Thank you so much for reassuring me. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Simiji. So we have one more question. Is it okay to take?
Yes.
Thank you. Sandhya, please unmute yourself.
Hello, sir. Lovely session. I'm sorry, there's something wrong with my camera, so I can't open my
Okay.
camera.
Yeah.
The question is about this impermanence.
Hmm.
Our soul is permanent, but I'm impermanent. So, is this basically the differentiation between my ego self and my God self? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So, and my ego self is all correlated with my thinking mind.
Yes. It is correlated to your thoughts, your feelings, your perceptions,
So
which
that is
are
the conscious mind, right?
the
But
conscious
then
mind. And it gives fire to our, when we
come again, the last statement.
it gives fire to our ego. It makes us ignorant of our real self. But to be
Okay, but then,
acknowledged, yeah,
Hmm.
please go ahead.
But now, how does living in the moment prevent me from going into the ego space? So basically, I find living in the moment always put me more in the God space concept. Am I right?
Okay,
So this
yes, absolutely. Because
now,
living in the moment, what
Hmm.
happens to me in that moment? I begin to realize what exists. Even this moment makes me realize that this moment is also not permanent. Because this very moment, this moment is not going to stay. So if the moments are also changing,
Hmm.
then what is going to change? What is not going to change? That thought that I'm struggling with, that feeling that I'm also struggling with, it's also changing. It is constantly changing. What is not going to change is that cannot be named, actually. In our text we've written it as soul. Maybe
Hmm.
in our Hindu tradition we call it as Atman. Atman is something which is beyond any definition, which is imperishable. It does not age, it does not catch any illness, it never took birth, it never gonna die. That is Atman. It stays, it was staying, it is staying, and it will stay forever. That is Atman. That Atman is appearing as you and I. It's appearing as you and I. So whatever is built over that is impermanent.
Oh, okay.
Whatever is
Oh,
built over my manas, buddhi, my mind, my chitta, my ahankar, my consciousness, everything which is built over that, everything is impermanent. Some of those things are going to, dissolve, let's say in this life only. For example, our body, the way I was born, I don't look the same. So things are constantly changing. Okay, there are certain beliefs that I carried as a teenager, but I don't have it now. They are also constantly changing. There are some rude thoughts, rude feelings that are there with me, let's say in this lifetime, but in next lifetime they will drop, they'll get dropped. So these things are changing. But what does not change is that Atman. That never changes. It stays, it was, it is. And it cannot be directly reached, to be very frank. You cannot directly say this is Atman. There is one process in our Vedic system, which we call as Neti Neti. Neti Neti means not this, not this. So you can only reach to Atman by process of elimination. We call it the process of elimination. Like the way I eliminated, oh, I'm not my body because it's not going to stay the same. Oh, I'm not my thoughts. Why? Because thoughts come to me. How can myself come to me? So it is not me. I am not my, I'm not my beliefs because my beliefs are also changing. I'm not my perception because today I have a perception about Apple. I like it. But tomorrow my liking and my perception of Apple also can change. And same with people and everything. So everything changes. I am not this. I'm cutting everything. You cut everything. I'm not my profession. I'm not my accolades. I'm not my achievements. I'm not my success. I'm not my failure. You cut everything. I'm not my relationships. I'm not my name. I cut everything. And after cutting that, that which is left is Atma.
Cool. Oh, that okay.
That which is left, although we say it, the main ingredient, it is the main ingredient of myself. Like if we cook chana dal and you take out chana dal out of chana dal, is it going to be chana dal? It's not going to be. If you take out the refill from the pen, is it going to be the pen? No, it's going to be just a plastic cylinder. Same way, there is something inside of me that is the main ingredient. If you take that out of me, rest everything is going to be impermanent. That is permanent. That is going to stay forever. It stayed and it is going to stay. So that is why we call that element as Swayambhu. It just came. Nobody gave it birth. And it's not going to experience death. It was, it is, and it will. That is Atma.
Wow. But then at moksha, Atman goes and मतलब परमात्मा में विलीन हो जाता है, or is that the right way to put it?
Yeah. And moksha is a state, actually. It does not mean that you come out of the circle of birth and death. That is one definition. That's
okay.
just one definition. The other definition is if we want moksha after death, we must live like as if I have moksha inside while I'm living. That is called moksha. How can I have moksha after death if I don't know how to live in moksha? How can I have non-attachments after death if I don't have non-attachments, if I don't practice non-attachments during life? So that is why I have to practice. Moksha means I live like non-attachments. And when I live like non-attachment, it is that I am out of the circle of birth and death. Even after that, I have a liberty whether to come, whether not to come. There are some great masters, those who come. Krishna, he came back. He came back to teach us. He came back to elevate the consciousness of the whole world. Lord Ram, he came like that. They were enlightened beings. So it's like they already had it, but they came. So moksha is not just about coming out of birth and death and that merging with the divine. In this body also you can live like that. And there are great masters. Patriji is great example of that. He lived as if he is that. That's why to all of us he said, my dear masters and my dear gods. If somebody else would listen to them, they'll say, oh, how can he say gods? Gods are so high. He never made us feel that because he lives, God lives inside. And he lived from that space.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Now I understand even the meaning of Turiya and Moksha.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Well,
Thank you,
I'm
Hitesh.
sorry, sir. I just couldn't stop myself saying that we can listen to you hours and hours and hours. We just don't want to. I'm just thinking, oh my God, the session is ending. Thank you so much for wonderful session, sir, from all PSSM Australia team and all who are joining. Thank you very much. Over to
Thank
you, Lavanya. Sorry, I couldn't resist not saying this.
No,
Thank
did it very well.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Hitesh, sir. Thank you for this, for your valuable time and invaluable wisdom. Thank you so much. And thank you to all our participants who have joined today. I would also like to extend a gratitude to PMC English for collaborating with us, for Satish Master from PSSM Malaysia for providing technical support and flyer support from Jenny, Prithvi, and Sharma Masters. Lastly, a big thank you to the PSSM admin team for their endless support in making this session a success. Thank you, everyone. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir.